How you doing? I'm going to show you quickly how I rinse my kegs. These are commercial Sankey kegs. I have garden hose coming up to this point, valve off. I have compressed air coming up to this point. If I was on the sanitation portion, I would have CO2 connected instead of compressed air. And then I have my Sankey coupler. I have a valve that I can shut off the in, and I have a valve right here that I can shut off the out. Simply take my dirty keg. Right now I should have some beer residual in there and CO2. I make sure the valves are closed. I hook up my coupler, lock it into place, flip the keg upside down. Now what I'm going to do is the CO2 that's inside this keg, I'm going to use it to push out any residual beer and release that CO2 from the system. Once the CO2 is released, I'm going to open up the valve to allow my garden hose to come in. Turn on my garden hose. I'm going to give it a quick rinse. All right. It's shooting up the spear to the dome-shaped top, cascading down the sides. I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to shut it off. Now I'm going to turn my compressed air on. Now the air is going to push off that water from the garden hose I just pushed in. Now that it's just the air flowing, I'm going to turn the garden hose back on, and I have it balanced properly to create a bursting action. You can see the hose pulsating, and the keg is actually pulsating. Once it balances out in the keg, you can actually hear it creating a blasting action, a pulsating action. Right now it is basically the water in the air is coming up the sphere, hitting the dome, cascading down the sides. I will do that for about a minute and a half, really blasting the inside of that keg. The first thing I'll do is I'll shut off the water, so the air will push out that residual garden hose water. Then I'll simply shut off my air. All right, now this is rinsed and ready for PBW. After it gets PBW, I'll do the same rinsing action again, and then I'll put Star Sand in it. And then instead of having compressed air pushing out the fluid, I will hook up my CO2 port from my CO2 tank here, pushing out the sanitizer. So I will leave these pressurized with CO2, waiting for the next beer to go into them. That's pretty much it. Before I remove the keg coupler, I always close both valves.